Okay, now I am going to show you how to do a new song, as though there's a song that we've never done before. You cannot find it here in the library. Somebody requests it and you have to develop the whole thing from scratch. So here is how you do it. First off, this is a little bit different than I've normally done it, so I'm trying this out, but I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. So what I did was I just created a new presentation called New Song. So if you look up New Song in the library here, you'll see New Song, and this is it. This is accounting for 5 verses. I will duplicate this here. And then what I did was I just made a handful of them so that you can have, if you have a new song, all you would have to do is retitle it and you still have the same template in there for other future new songs that you have to do. So what I did was I just gave 4 slides per verse, except for verse 5, of course, because I forgot that, but a couple slides for the chorus, a background slide, a blank slide. This is your garden variety song here. So what I'll do, actually, as a way of demonstrating this, just so you can see it, since I didn't duplicate verse 5, there's only one slide for it. I will click on it. I'll show you how to do this. Click on Editor. I can now right click on that verse 5 slide. No, I cannot. Alright, I'm used to doing the keyboard shortcut, so oh, okay, edit, duplicate, and it will give me 2 slides for verse 5. So I'm gonna actually select them both and then edit, duplicate. That is a technique that works for duplicating any slide, so you know how to do it. I just happen to forget to do that. So anyway, so this will give you plenty to work with. As you can see, it's very generic text that's in each one, so you will know if I didn't use it, I can delete it because I have real obvious text that I didn't use it. So what we're going to do is we're going to develop this. So this is a place where Reflow Editor is going to be your best friend. So Reflow right here. I'm going to click on that. And as you can see, it gives me all the slides. And it says here which label it is, verse 1, verse 1, verse 2. I'll show you how I get these labels in a little bit, but for right now I'll just show you the text, how I edit the text. So I happen to download a copy of the lyrics for Amazing Grace because it's a simple song. I just paste it into Notepad just to make it easy to work with here, which you can do. I just found it on the internet, paste it into Notepad. What I do at the start, because it's easiest in here, is I will take out any of the ending punctuation. The only exception is maybe a question mark that I might leave in there, but I like to keep it as clean as possible. So I don't like a lot of punctuation. I will usually capitalize the first letter of each sentence, of each line, if it is not already done, just to have it clean and uniform. So we have here verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, and verse 4. Another tip, when you are at this point, if you are downloading the lyrics from a hymn off of the internet and you're not typing them into Notepad yourself, double check it against the hymnal, because sometimes there's a word or two that's different. It's a lot easier to edit in here in Notepad where it's all in one place than to do it once you have it in Propresenter. Gets a little trickier. So double check yourself here and then go into Propresenter with it. So just a tip there. I've run into that a few times. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to deal with verse 1 first. I'm going to copy all of this, the first verse. And since this is the first slide of verse 1 lyrics, as plain as I can make it, I'm going to select all of that and paste it. Voila. Okay, now that is 6 lines. I usually, rule of thumb, I never like to go more than 4 lines on a lyric slide. I like 2, 3 is okay depending on where the phrasing of the song is. I never like to go more than 4. So what I'm going to do, like I've done in the past, I guess I could do this instead of having to duplicate those other slides, is I'm going to click right here because that's where I want the slide break to be. I'm going to insert slide break, and as you have seen in the past, it will give me the slide break. Nice and neat. Okay, let's go on to verse number 2. Again, I'll do the same thing. Copy verse number 2. I'll paste it in there. Again, I've got 6 lines here, so I want the slide break to be right here. So I click right there, and then I hit slide break, and it will give me, takes a second, there you go. Now I have nice clean slides there. Let's go on to verse 3. I'm walking you through this all just so you can have the chance to see it. I'll walk through it a little bit faster here now. Verse 3 lyrics. Oh, I'm going to actually do on the first slide. If I put it in the wrong one, it wouldn't really matter. I'd have the chance to delete the other slides later. 3 slides, and this is where the phrase ends in the song. So if you need help with that, call one of the musicians, somebody who knows the song well, and they could tell you where the natural place is for needing to break the slide if you're not familiar with the song or whatever. So, and then the last one. Oh, okay, here's one where it actually is 5 slides. You're going to see that this is this doesn't break in, or it's all in one line, and I'm going to want to end up breaking that up, so I'll show you how I do that. It's really not that complicated, I promise. That's verse 4. Paste. This song doesn't have a chorus to it, so well, that'll matter a little bit later on. But okay, so we have no less days to sing God's praise. I want to break the line there, so I'm just gonna, I don't want to mess with the new slide, so I'm just gonna hit enter to break the line there, and then I will make a new slide by clicking there because I want the slide break to be there, and hit insert slide break, and it will create the slide break. Now, if there were a verse 5, you could put in verse 5 lyrics. If there were a chorus, you could put the chorus lyrics, which that will become important later on. But for now, what I'm going to do, because I've pasted everything in, I'm going to close the reflow editor. Now you can see that I have a number of slides that have just verse 1 lyrics, verse 1, verse 2 lyrics. I need to get rid of those, so I'm just going to right click on them and say delete. I can actually click on one and then control click to get 2 of them and say delete. Verse 2 lyrics, some of the extras. Oh, I actually had to click each one individually, but I guess it's hold down shift and you can multiple select. But that's okay. I'm just cleaning this up for the sake of the demonstration. Okay, verse 5, since there was no verse 5, I can get rid of all the verse 5 lyric slides. Delete. And just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to leave the chorus up here for reasons that we'll get into a little bit later on. Oh, I missed a verse 1 lyrics. So I'll just right click on that, hit delete, and now I have it pretty tight. I have verse 1, I have verse 2. Oh, I missed a verse 2 lyrics. Right click, delete. See, that's why I left that stuff very obvious as far as the text that's in there. Okay, I expect each one will be about 3 lines, so I can just sort of visually check it. Okay, looks good. Now, now that I know that this is Amazing Grace, what I'm going to do is over here in the library, this is the part called New Song, and as you can see, I've duplicated this a bunch of times, so you can just click on that and you will have the whole template over again. So but we've made this Amazing Grace, so I'm going to right click on it, I'm going to say rename, and I'm going to title it Amazing Grace. Now, because this is just a test one, I'm going to actually rename it Test, because I already have Amazing Grace in the library. But okay, so we have Amazing Grace Test. Now, what I'm going to do here, now that I'm looking at it, is I'm going to click this little blue eye thing, which is just information. What I like to do is I like to put in the title, Amazing Grace. And I also like on the song number to put in the hymn number. That way I'm just sure that I have the exact one that I'm looking for, because I might have something there's a copy in the master chorus book and a hymn, and I want to make sure that I'm looking at the right song. So I don't know the song number for this, but I'll call it hymn 111. Category, I'm going to call this a hymn, because then again I know I'm looking at the right one. I have the hymn. I have a liturgy for if I'm doing like Sunday school commissioning, I call it a liturgy. Contemporary would be anything you hear on the radio, I will label as contemporary. Praise book is the two master chorus book, book 1, book 2. I call those the praise book ones so that I can differentiate them. But anyway, this is a hymn. So, and you can see here it calls it a hymn, just to be sure. Now that's what I like to do in here. Again, I toggled that by just hitting this I. Title, the song number, which is basically the hymnal number or the master chorus book number, whatever it is. Category, and that's really about it. I'll do notes if I have something real specific for a song, but you shouldn't end up needing to worry about that. So click that to toggle it off. Here is the next part. This is the arrangement editor, which is this thing right here. Let's see if it'll give me a title, but it's the multiple computers, which is okay. So you click on that and it basically toggles this display. This is how you make an arrangement. What you do step by step. Come over to here to this wheel, click on it, and you're going to say add new arrangement. If it's a hymn, I call it HFG, Hymns for Family of God. That way I know which hymnal it's coming out of. I know we only have one, but sometimes if I draw something from a different hymnal, then I like to be able to do that. Or I like to be able to know that. Let me put it that way. I hit OK. And it will kind of display what it thinks would be a standard arrangement. Verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Alright, I have to go, so I will continue this in another video. Bye.